Banana slam jam.
This is actually a loss. You are against what looks like a, I mean, I can tell because of this. You're against Wind Ranger Treant offlane with a Bat Rider 5. Okay. Okay. Starting items are a tad greedy. So, let's start this replay. I know I didn't announce exactly in the replay. This is a 4.5k MMR Drow Ranger replay. I just want to point out that your starting items are very greedy in regards to regen. In this patch, that tends to be okay, but I would also factor in that you're probably against a tree in lane. Tree is one of those 4 positions that can very obnoxiously snipe your couriers. So, it's not that I want you to like have tons of regen, but I would want you to have regen enough that if your courier can't get to you because the tree's like sitting around this area, that you'd not be boned. And I think this is a problem. So I would definitely have at least 6 tangos or tango salve. Up to you on what you want to go there, but I don't think this is enough. And then on top of this, you're against tree and you're a drow and you don't see tree and you're a drow and you're walking up to this rune. You are psychotic. Like, that is insane. At my bracket, you will die to this 100% of the time. Treant will do the thing he did to you, and they'll fucking kill you. Because all you have is a Bat Rider. Like, yeah, Bat Rider over time wins the battle. Like, if Tree's, like, sticky napalmed 5 times, sure, you can go walk up to the rune. But I will just tell you that you walking up to this rune, for all the aforementioned reasons, with no regen, like, you don't have a salve, so even if you don't die, if you take a lot of damage, you're screwed. This is absolutely psychotic. I feel like that was like best case scenario. And you use 2 tangos out of 3. Okay.
I steal from the slow.
I think what you're doing is fine. Missing some CS, but it's really important that you bully the tree the way you are, so that was good.
And a point well taken.
So in this situation, right here, it's really important to acknowledge that both range creeps are going to die about the same time. So when you see 2 creeps that are about to die at the same time right here, a really good player, they'll walk up to their own creep, like point blank range, and hit it the second it gets below half, and then hit it again. That's what they would do. What that does is desynchronize creeps. And what that means is like both creeps are going to die at slightly different times. So it's really important to recognize these types of situations such that you can you walk closer to it so that your attacks are faster on the creep, and then you deny it very quickly. So you're just right here, you would have gone boom, boom, right there, deny, deny, and you would have gotten the deny off. But instead you hesitated because you're like, I'm not sure if I should deny or last hit. But either way, you should recognize times where creeps are going to die about the same time, and if you're in control of the lane, you should try to desynchronize them. Okay. Unfortunate.
Dyer's courier has been
Yep, like I said, you're against a tree. Courier got sniped.
I don't think so. Aw, better luck.
I mean, that was a nice shackle. I think the overall problem is that you're not full health in this lane. I mean, yeah, you definitely should not have manned up on him there, but the fact that you're not full health in this lane is the problem. So I think that's like you're tanking too many creeps under tower. A bit of regen problems in general, but mainly just not... You have to stay at full health against a lane like this, because when you're a hero like Drow, the only way you really lose the lane, since you're such an efficient trader, is to die. So against like a Wind Ranger tree lane, if you're full health, you don't die there. You also chose to man up on him, but I think it's more important that you were just full health as much as possible throughout this lane. Any lane where their ability to win the lane is based on killing you, your solution is to be at full health as much as possible. Right here, I would definitely just E out the wave. I don't know where Treant is. The fact that he's not being aggressive on you right now is like pretty insane. I would have just E'd out the creep wave and backed off. You're just super vulnerable here, and if they both go on you, what happens? It's just never good for you. So super important to keep that in mind against heroes like Tree. As heroes like Drow, you're just you're vulnerable when the lane's pushed out. Recognizing how the lane pushed out affects you is really important. So if the lane's like really scary for me on any hero at any time, I push it out as quickly as possible if I think I can. If I don't think I can, I back the fuck off and sit in XP range. Those are the two choices. Lingering there in XP range, and like lingering there in a dangerous position is like the one problem you can, or the one wrong thing you can do.
Spend it wisely. You are my hero.
Like going in between is not okay. You either need to fully commit to killing the wave when you're in danger, or you need to just leave. And this is an example of what should happen. Like that Tree shouldn't be contesting the pull. They should just do that to you. What happened earlier that I said you should be drastically or like deathly afraid of was right there. That should have happened earlier too. If these guys were better players, they would have done it to you the other time too.
Nuh-uh.
I also would have probably prioritized Wraith Bands. Or sorry, Boots over Wraith Bands. Just because the way they kill you is slows and diving you. And the first death may have been able to be avoided if you had Boots. No amount of real tankiness will save you from their combo. It's more so about you just not getting caught out of position. So I might have prioritized Boots first in a lane like this. Oftentimes on Drow I don't, but specifically in this lane, I probably would have. Okay, overall we're covering decently. I would just shove this lane out. I don't care about lane equilibrium anymore. Get level 6 and GTFO is what I'm thinking. It's really important as a carry player to recognize how long you want to stay in lane. For you, this is not a good lane. Like, you don't want to stay here. You don't threaten this Wind Ranger, but she threatens you. That is like one of the #1 indicators of a lane you do not want to stay in, period. I would almost consider rotating to bottom lane. And if your mid laner rotates to bottom like they have, why not go mid lane, right? But either way, all of those options are you leaving this lane. And in that case, I would have definitely just E'd the wave because 6 is kind of the condition for you leaving your lane. So I would have noticed, hey, I'm almost 6. I would have E'd that wave just to get it out, and then I would have left as soon as possible. Kind of similar to last game where he needed to have a sense of urgency to push the wave because he was ahead. You need to have the sense of urgency to push the wave because you're behind, and you're a hero that can push the wave, and it's a way of protecting yourself and getting out of danger. This is just not a lane you should be in. Like, think about it to yourself. Why the hell are you here? Like I said, you don't threaten Wind Ranger. He threatens you. #1 recipe for a shit lane that you should leave as soon as possible. Just don't be a liability as a carry. Just don't. Like, that's what you need to avoid. If you return to this damn lane, you are insane. Okay, you are insane, my good sir. I don't have anything else to say, you know? Like, I mean, people do this in my bracket sometimes, like people who are tilted or they're like low 6K, they still do it sometimes. But for the love of God, like, are you a masochist? Or, you know, what's the deal? Do you just like to, did you need to pick your nose? Like, did you need to be dead for 23 seconds because of something in real life that required your attention? Because I told you it was insane that you came back to this lane and you're dead 30 seconds later. This isn't crazy to, like, come up with this knowledge that these two guys can kill you. Like, ask yourself, if they come behind me on Treant Protector, what do I do? And the answer is die. And if the answer is die when some guy walks behind you, you can't be in that lane anymore. Absolutely nutty. I would have probably rotated bottom and, like, killed this lifestealer. If you rotate top, if you come back to top, you are even more insane. Okay, you are now mid. Took you about 4 deaths extra, but that's okay. Maybe 3 deaths. I think 1 death in that lane was reasonable. I believe most Drows, at least for a while, were going Ring of Basilius because of the increased mana cost on her 3rd spell. Something to consider. Out of the two jungles, the lane that threatened you was top, not bottom. So I would have chosen the triangle over this one. It really comes down to which lane threatens you more. I think your odds of ever returning top should be really low. So if your odds of returning top should be really low. So here's how I look at it. I don't really ever want to go back top on Drow this game. So if something on the map happens where I feel like I need to create pressure somewhere, I would want it to be away from there. So I want to be farming around bottom such that if I see like 4 heroes from top or from Radiant top, that my reaction would be to push bottom. Because right now, if there's 4 heroes on the opponent team top, your only proper reaction is to fight them. Which I can't imagine you want to fight them right now. Like, I just can't imagine that. I would really imagine that if they showed 4 heroes top, you'd much rather be hitting bottom tower and getting it for free, potentially killing somebody who's alone because you have a bounty hunter off lane. That's how I look at Dota, and that's how you should consider, like, what am I going to do if something in this game happens? If they show 4 heroes top, would I rather fight them, or would I rather be bottom? And, like, that's just different every single game, and you'll see carries dictate their farming pattern based on that. So I would have rather you farm the triangle than farm your own jungle, because the way you farm and the area of the map that you choose to farm will dictate what you react to. Like, that's just the nature of it. The only reason you walked to this fight is because you were farming right here. If you were farming right here, you would have never considered showing up to this fight. And if you think you want to be here, you are nutty, my good sir. Shocker, you are dead. Stop having an affinity for your own safe lane. For most safe laners like Lifesteal or Slark, it becomes dangerous around 10 to 15 minutes, like somewhere in that window. For Drow, it's usually like 6 or 7 minutes. Like, you just don't want to be in your lane anymore. Because it sucks to be in that lane. Dead lane, sir. Dead lane. Notice how I'm telling you you're going to die simply based on your positioning on the map. So if you want to be a better carry player, learn to understand what positioning on the map means for you. Understand the dead lane, what it means. Why is it the dead lane? Why should you not be there? Most of the time. You have to basically the condition for being in the dead lane is I am imagining every way they could possibly kill me and it wouldn't work. If that's the case, feel free to be there. That means you fathomed every single possible way they could kill you and that you couldn't come up with a way that they could kill you. And in this game, I think you die like 9 different ways. So, I don't even think it's close. I probably would have kept the Pupil's Gift. Maybe the move speed's better for now. I don't know. Strength seems nice.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower.
See, like, this is a perfectly fine fight, because you're not the one getting gone on. You're, like, sitting around there, and you show up, and that Lifestealer fucked up, but that was a decent reaction by you. You're a bit out of position, but overall, notice your positioning on the map was good. And it resulted in a nice, convenient fight for you to show up to. Got a little kill, or, like, an assist, and you walked away. Now you push out bottom, you see Quap mid, Wind Ranger's respawning. Since Wind Ranger's not respawned yet, I'd definitely wait to see what she does. If she goes top, I'd feel good to go bottom, but if she doesn't, I wouldn't feel good to go bottom. You now see Wind Ranger top. So I would maybe even ask somebody to go bottom with me, but I would at least walk there.
Radiant are scanning.
This is dangerous, because you could die to... I guess tree's showing mid. I would have waited for my Pudge to get closer at the very least. Yeah, I would have mainly just made sure the Pudge was in front of me. I think that was just you being overzealous. I would have walked bottom feeling safe to farm it, but I wouldn't feel safe to walk more aggressively towards them. I would have... Like, there's a big difference between saying you're safe enough to farm this big camp than you're safe enough to farm the lane and go back to your Ancients. There's a big difference. So, being aware of your survivability as well as, like... Mainly your survivability is crucial. And so, constantly monitoring to yourself, you know, where am I survivable? Where's the line that I'm allowed to cross based on where their heroes are on the map and how strong I am and based on what items I have, all that kind of shit. And in that case, you just were way overzealous. Farming a jungle camp, you had no business farming, and you died again. Once again, you find yourself top. I will simply implore you to ask yourself how many times you have to die in the dead lane before you recognize it is a dead lane. I would say you get like one freebie, you know, and then you're just stupid because you keep doing the same shit over and over again. I have a whole video on this on Game Leap. You know, I know Game Leap's pretty old, but the video is incredibly relevant, very in detail. If you're willing to spend $25 on a replay, if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Game Leap coaching simulation course. It's like $6 to be on there for like a month. I'm not trying to just sell out and make more money. I'm simply telling you that if you are asking me, BSJ, you know, what's this dead lane shit? I made like an hour-long video on it. Okay. Notice how all the fights you're taking on their side of the map, where your team initiates, are good. Any fight that you're on your side of the map, where you get gone on, are bad. Rinse and repeat. Okay, don't mind the Hurricane Pike. I'd say Hurricane Pike Manta is like a pretty reasonable build here against Treant Protector and Lifestealer and Orchid and such.
Radiant are scanning. Dire are scanning.
Precious
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
Oh, I'd take those spider legs over that freaking Mindbreaker in a heartbeat, dude. Spider legs on like immobile ranged heroes are so good, man. Put them in your damn inventory. Nice. I was about to say, if you get rid of these spider legs, I'm actually going to be visibly upset. Okay, so these are overall good moves. This is why you play this side of the map. It naturally protects you to play on the side of the map that your team is going to make moves. Just a bit overzealous with the enemy team coming back to life and you thinking you're stronger than you are. Not much else to say about that. I like where you are on the map, but it's really important to know exactly when you're supposed to back off, whether that's based on respawn times, based on cooldowns, based on what enemies are showing on the map. Just giving you random examples of what could cause you to want to turn around. And right there, you just stayed too long. Nothing else to say about that. In terms of, you know, there's reasons why you can come up with why you stayed too long, but the fact of the matter is you did. And I'm sure you know that, but it's very important to think about these things. That gave up Roche, so that's a lot of map control lost.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Haste.
This should be a good fight because you're fighting on top of a ward. Let's rewind for a second. Your positioning was pretty... let's see here. Had to watch it in like regular speed. So I haven't seen your teammates' items. No blink. All I can really say is... if you ask yourself what hero should be closest to the opponent on your team, I would say on that tier, you know, of like who should be closest to who should be the farthest away, you're number 5. I'd say you're number 5. Like, you should be the farthest away. And that's something you can think about. You know, who should go in first? You know, who starts the fight for us? You know, where should my positioning be? And there's nothing else to say about this than your positioning is garbage, right? Like, that's just terrible. You're the first one in on Drow when you have, like, 3 beefy mid-melee heroes and a Batrider, who's kind of a hero that runs at them. And he's got drums and a plate mail. Like, he actually built to run at them. So, really, the only way you guys lose this fight is by you getting bursted at the start, I think. I think that, like, now that Venge is dead, I think you just need to not die at the start of this fight.
Amateur.
And that's just really bad positioning. These are things that need to be like thought about somewhat ahead of time so that when you're in the fight, you just do and you're not thinking. You want to think about it ahead of time such that during the fight, you can think about the more important things like pressing your buttons properly.
Every coin helps.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So when you see 3 heroes mid like this, and you're right here, your 2 options are to run this way or that way. That's like your only 2 choices. Because you just saw 3 mid heroes here. There's not much else to say about this. You're just not a strong enough hero to do this. You can't reactionarily get away from them, if that makes sense. If they see you, you're fucking dead, period. Like, you're not some, like, Ember, Puck, Blink hero, right? You're just, if you get gone on, you're just dead. And people in your bracket, even though you're in 4K, are not stupid. Like, they're gonna see a Drow and be like, oh, we can just kill this guy, and then they're gonna kill you. So really important to understand, like, based on what you see, what you can do on the map. And right there, you just walked in a direction that was not safe when you blatantly saw the heroes that told you that you weren't. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you don't think about the game like that. But on a hero like Drow, positioning is much less forgiving. You seem like a person who plays primarily like Slarks in their games. Because in that situation, Slark wouldn't die. But Drow does. And if you're trying to practice positioning and like very fragile map movements, Drow's really good for that. In the sense that you have to do it right, otherwise you're going to lose. And you're getting punished for it a lot. I would say you're probably a pretty limited hero pool, and most of those heroes are very survivable. Like similar to what I play, like the PLs, the Slarks, the Jugs, the Lifestealers, these types of heroes. I don't think you have much experience on the Drows, the Lunas, the Gyros.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
At this point, you just need to wait for your teammates to make something happen. You need to follow them up. That's really all you can do. You're not strong enough to initiate anything yourself, so you just follow them up. That was good. When you're not strong enough, you just wait for your teammates, and you ask yourself, who on my team is strong enough? You wait for them to do something, and then you make it happen with them. So that was good. Kind of just letting your team dictate the pace of the game.
Radiant's middle tower has Radiant's
Nice little comeback here, even though I know you guys end up losing. No spoilers for all the people watching.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Nice choice to back when you did. You don't use spider legs at all, so definitely need to work on using your neutral item. It is very difficult to get used to. I would have genuinely considered E-Blade here. 90% of their damage is physical, so Ghost Scepter is like super value. And then obviously E-Blade's like really good damage for your hero. So instead of BKB, I would have strongly considered Ghost Scepter into E-Blade. You don't have to, but I would have strongly considered it. Yeah, my issue that I saw was like the way you die is primarily like Wind Ranger just focus firing you, and that doesn't save you from it. So even though you BKB'd and ran away, I feel like Ghost Scepter running away would have done the same thing. And if Ghost Scepter does the same thing as BKB, then you should usually buy Ghost Scepter. Just because it's lower cooldown, cheaper, 5 all stats. Sad that nobody on your team built a Vlad's when you were a Drow, so it feels bad, man.
Radiant's middle
Tranquil's Maelstrom Halberd. This is some shit. It would be way more impactful with a freaking Vlad's. But that's okay.
Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Worthy tribute.
I think it's really important that you heal yourself up. You're staying way too long on the map without resources, and the enemy team just takes Roche, so... could you have done anything about it with Bounty Hunter dead? I'm not 100% sure, but you were definitely on the map for way too long without being strong enough to fight the opponent. At this stage in the game, the most important thing is not that you're fighting all the time, but it is that you are able to fight all the time. Because if you are not able to fight all the time, the enemy team will most likely be able to exploit it at some point. Okay. I probably would have gone MKB over Crystallis. They have Wind Ranger. They have Lifestealer, I believe, with a Radiance. Or no, he has a Halberd and the Evasion Talent. I knew you were missing on him, so I wasn't sure exactly. I know Drow Ranger Ultimate doesn't miss, but you're against Wind Ranger and a Lifestealer with like 36% evasion. I think that's like good enough to warrant an MKB over Daedalus. or maybe Crystallis and MKB, you know, like if you think the Crystallis damage output's like super value.
Radiant structures are
Yeah, I mean, overall, this game, you guys actually came back and you made a good run at it. But the fact is, I think you just had like 4 too many deaths in the first 20 minutes of the game. And if you kept playing like you did later on, and you just didn't have quite that bad of a start, I think you could have come back. I think you did a lot of things right in the last like 10 to 15 minutes. But the game's just really hard. They're going to have much easier ways to kill you as time goes on. I would have strongly considered the Ghost Scepter instead of the BKB. And maybe even like a Shadow Blade after that. Just so you can be... Shadow Blade in this case is more of like a survivability thing. Not to like farm survivably, but like in fights to position yourself so it's really hard for a Wind Ranger to find you. Even if she has a blink, she still has to see you. She has to see you to blink dust you. And at that point, it's just harder to kill you. So I would have strongly considered Shadow Blade. I would have strongly considered Ghost Scepter as items to consider. So hope you enjoyed this replay, and that'll be it for that.